Good morning, Canada. Welcome to the weekend edition of Your Morning. I'm Anne-Marie Mediwake.
I'm Lindsey Deluce.
And I'm Kelsey McEwen. Thank you for starting your weekend morning off with us.
In just a few minutes, we'll have my conversation with former NHL enforcer Jordin Tootoo on his new documentary. I love speaking with Jordin. He was so much fun. Even he's been through a lot in his life. He talks about many things, his relationship with his dad, losing his brother to suicide, his battle with addiction, and what that looked like for him on and off the ice. Right now, he's a proud father to 3 daughters. We talked about how he loves taking them up north and living the lifestyle there. And his oldest one, he says, is now playing hockey and starting to look a lot like him on the ice.
Oh, I love that. Now, before we bring you that interview, we are talking about doom scrolling. Most of us do it, you know, the mindless social media scrolling that can become really draining.
It's also a big waste of time. Those precious hours that we spend doing that, especially at nighttime, we could be doing more beneficial things like sleeping, perhaps. Here's a closer look at why scrolling at night is ruining our rest.
So scrolling on your phone before bed, you know, it is pretty normal. It's a habit most of us do. But what if I told you it can come with some health risks? A study by Discover Public Health found a link between late night scrolling and delayed sleep on top of higher rates of stress and anxiety. Sleep expert Amanda Jewson is here to tell us all about it. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning.
So how much are we really talking about? Like, how much late night scrolling does someone need to do in order for it to have a serious impact on our health?
You know, we've actually have good data on this because we've talked before about the type of media that impacts our sleep. So, you know, it depends on what you're looking at, really. Now, in this study specifically, we're looking at social media content, and we're looking at social media content right before bed. So if you're, you know, looking up a recipe, the response to that is different than doom scroll, doom scroll, doom scroll. Even certain types of engaging video games can impact our sleep onset, our sleep architecture. So really, it comes down to the type and when you're doing it. So often it's in bed, right before bed, scroll, 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 unhappy things, bad feelings, etc.
And how does it impact our sleep?
Yeah, so in this study specifically, 58% of heavy users reported going to bed after 2 a.m., which is pretty impactful.
And they didn't want to.
They didn't want to, but it's also hard because these apps are addicting, number one.
Right.
And then you might, you know, see something you don't like, you want to look up more, and it continues the doom scroll, as you know. So it impacts not only sleep onset, falling asleep, but it actually, folks were self-reporting the quality of sleep was lower as well.
And what does it do to our physical and mental health?
Yeah, so this is actually the coolest thing about this study is that, you know, we can talk about how these things feel. We know that. And I think anecdotally we can share, don't read scary things before you go to bed. But this study highlighted the physiological changes associated with these feelings, which is pretty neat. So if people reporting depressive feelings had lower oxygen saturation, folks reporting more anxious feelings had higher resting heart rates. People who reported themselves as heavy social media users had higher blood pressure. If you were a female, these are all, these are all amplified. They tend to be higher, report as heavier social media use. They go to bed later, and they tend to be more impacted by these effects overall.
Okay, so Amanda, lots of people say, okay, just reduce your screen time.
Yeah, easy.
But it may not be that easy. What can we realistically do?
Yeah, I mean, social media is a big part of all of our lives. It's a part of my job. I'm sure it's a part of yours. So we want to reverse some of when we're doing these things. So instead of right before bed, try to do it at lunch. Try to get it all in. If you need to be on social media, and a lot of people just like doing it for connection, do it at lunch, do it earlier in the day. And studies show that when you pick a random number, okay, so let's say 37 minutes, 45 minutes before bed, a number that feels weird, you're more likely to commit to that action. So cut off at 37 minutes before bed. You're putting your phone in the drawer. We're doing some reverse scrolling, okay? Then we're gonna think about, what's the last scary thing that you saw on social media that you didn't like?
Saturday night game 7.
Oh my gosh, I can't even talk about it. Tears, I can't cry on television. But let's talk about that. You're going to write it down into a journal. You're going to disengage from that scary thought, rewrite it into the action you wish you saw instead, maybe something humorous, absurd, to sort of disengage, and find an accountability partner. This stuff is hard. Behavior change is hard. But if you have a buddy to say, hey, I'm texting you at 10:23 every night to put away my phone, you're more likely to do it when you're doing it with a friend.
Accountability is everything.
It's huge.
Amanda, thank you for joining us this
Yay,
morning.
my
Appreciate it.
pleasure.
Coming up, Jordin Tootoo on his new documentary, his past mental health struggles, and his life now as a dad to 3 daughters. Jordin Tootoo was the first Inuk hockey player drafted by the NHL, racking up 161 points, including 65 goals over the course of his career. Well, now he's sharing his story in the film Tootoo, the Jordin Tootoo story.
The Inuit forward from Rankin Inlet has made it to the NHL.
And it was electric. Jordan was
This former NHL player is shedding light on past mental health struggles and how he's moved forward in a new documentary. Jordin is in our studio this morning, all the way from Kelowna, BC. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Let's start with your hockey career. You played for Nashville, Detroit, New Jersey, and Chicago. You were considered a trailblazer because of your Inuk heritage, but you were also known, really well known for your fights on the ice. We saw some of those. But you say those two things played into one another. How so?
Yeah, I grew up with a lot of chaos and whatnot, and having an older brother who was pretty rough with me and all his buddies. So it was just instilled in me ever since I was a young boy to grind and be mentally strong. And you know what? Growing up in the Arctic, you inadvertently become mentally strong. So I give credit to growing up in Nunavut and the style that I played really came through, and the fans loved it. Yes, hit first and knock them down before they get to you.
The doc starts with you talking about your childhood. We were just showing some of the pictures there, and your parents' struggles with alcoholism. And over the years, you've written books about this. You've really explored your relationship, their relationship. In particular, your father's story. What's your relationship like with them right now?
You know what? Throughout this whole process, filming and writing my books, we've became a lot closer. Our relationship today is better than it's ever been. And I commend my mom and dad for finding the courage to speak the truth and really have that communication on a cordial level. So, I am grateful that we are where we are today, although a lot of hardships, but I chose to learn from them and stop one cycle and start a new cycle.
Well, I was going to say, they actually, there was a lot of pain, and you write about that, but growing up in that household, but when they model for you change, I guess that is something that you've been able to follow. Yes,
absolutely. I love my parents dearly and our people, and for me, it's about leading the way by example. We can all talk the talk, but who's willing to, walk the walk? So, I use the word choose a lot, and, we all have history. We all fight a fight no one knows about, and for me to be able to express and show my story, hopefully I can inspire someone to change their lives.
While you were working through your relationship with your parents, you lost somebody very close to you, and you mentioned him already. This is your older brother, Terrence. He was your role model, he was your protector, he was your guide, and he died by suicide in 2002. And then a year later, you get called up to the NHL. So you're away from home, you're away from family, you've got the loss of your brother. How did all of that show up in your life, on and off the ice?
Community, growing up in a small town, we're very tight-knit, and, we've, in our communities, we all know suicide is prevalent, substance abuse. The history of our people has been well documented, and, for me, like I said, we all fight a fight no one knows about, and I'm so grateful that when I entered rehab back in 2010, my main goal was to keep my brother's legacy on because he's the one that paved the way for me.
I want to talk about your success on the ice, but in the off time, you are battling alcoholism, substance abuse, mental health struggles. What was it like living that double life?
It was tricky. You know, for a lot of men, we tend to want a bottle and push down those hard times. And, you know, I think having the game of hockey really helped me throughout my struggles. You know, obviously, being an angry young man, hockey was an outlet for me. At the same time, you know, being that young and moving to the States, it was a bit of
You
a
were
culture.
a long way from home.
It was a bit of a culture shock, and but you know, the hockey community is small, and you know, I give a lot of credit to you know, my coach, Mr. Barry Trotz, and Mr. David Poyle for caring about Jordin Tootoo, the person, and not just a hockey player.
Okay, can we talk about Jordin Tootoo, the girl dad, now? One of the beautiful things of your story is this family legacy, your parents, yourself, and now your daughters. You have 3 of them. You've brought them up to Nunavut. You go out on the land. You keep those traditions alive. Is this you with them there?
Yes, it is.
This is fantastic. What does sharing that with your girls and this version of you do for you?
Yeah, the land to me is a healing part of my life. You know, my wife Jennifer and I are so grateful to have 3 beautiful daughters who are active in the outdoors. You know, both of us have really instilled the wilderness in our healing process together, and my girls are just so outgoing and charismatic. You know, Sienna, Avery, and Riley have been a joy, and for me to be able to watch them grow daily has been my personal greatest accomplishment.
Amazing. Have they seen the footage of their dad on the ice yet?
They're starting to get at an age where they're starting to realize what Daddy did, and my oldest one, Sienna, she plays hockey, and I think she's got a little Tootoo blood in her.
Nice. All right, I can't wait to see what that looks like. Jordin Tootoo, a real pleasure to have you here. Thanks for coming in today.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Encourage you to go see the documentary. It is out now on Super Channel.
The Royal Agricultural Winter Fair returns to Exhibition Place in Toronto for its 103rd year. Yeah, 103. We are so excited about this year's new ambassador. You got a little peek at Rosie before the break with Alan Doyle, but here you go. Meet Rosie, the miniature donkey. Please welcome, sorry, Rosie, that was a bit aggressive on my part. Joined in studio by her owner, Zuri Barnes, and official spokesperson for the Royal, Katie Brown. Welcome back to the show, Katie, and welcome, Rosie. I'm going to try to speak a little bit softer. I think that was a bit aggressive on my part.
She really wants to have a snack on the tree. That's what's happening
You
here.
were mentioning this, and these are not real, so we cannot have Rosie snack on plastic. Rosie is the first donkey to be in this role. What is her job, Katie?
Well, she welcomes guests to the fair. She is posing for pictures. She's helping people learn about miniature donkeys, and of course, you can come and pet her because she's so soft.
She's so soft and so well behaved because there's a lot going on in this studio right now. Zuri, tell me a little bit about Rosie. When Rosie is obviously not a celeb working at the fair, what is her day like?
So at home, she lives with our sheep and our cattle, and she protects our property from predators that may enter.
And they do a really good job of this, too. I was just talking about at the farm where we are, where my in-laws are. You hear the donkeys do their work, keeping the coyotes away from the cattle and everything.
Yep.
So she's a worker.
Yeah, she is. She works really hard, and we appreciate everything that she does for us.
Oh, she's so sweet. So how did this come to be? How did Rosie become the ambassador this year?
So we always look for an animal that we haven't had before, and we've never ever had a miniature donkey. We don't even actually have a donkey class at the fair, but they are that unsung hero of agriculture. And we also love to pick an ambassador that has a great owner that can talk about what it takes to take care of these animals and be a good ambassador about loving animals as well. So,
and she's beautiful. Zuri, tell me a little bit about her. She's 6 years old.
Yep.
She's a miniature donkey.
Yep.
So is this it? We've maxed out?
Yep, this is as big as she'll get.
She's so cute. And does she have a sibling or anything at the farm?
Yep, she actually lives with her mom still and her grandmother, and she has a best friend named Teddy.
Stop it. Rosie and Teddy?
Yep.
Are they related or they're just besties?
No, they're just besties.
Oh, and they hang out with each other?
Yep, all day, every day.
You must love that.
I love it.
And what's her personality like?
She's smart, she's cheeky, and she's very affectionate.
Oh, it's so lovely. Let's talk about some highlights, Katie, at the Royal this year. What can you tell us?
I mean, it's all about the animals. This weekend we have the 4-H showing their cattle, so it's so precious seeing boys and girls coming to show off their prize cattle. We also have the opening weekend of the horse show. We have the Canadian Show Jumping Championships,
Cool.
Indoor eventing. We also have Shetland pony races. So ponies smaller than her whipping around the Coca-Cola Coliseum.
Oh
It
my
is
gosh.
so exciting. The louder you cheer, the faster they go.
Oh, that's so cute. Hey, Rosie. Okay, we know that donkeys are known for their sounds, right? Like that hee-haw sound. I have an example of Rosie's sounds. Like, do you guys want to listen? Okay, let's roll it.
Now somebody, anybody, everybody scream! Now somebody, anybody, everybody scream!
Oh my gosh. That's hysterical. Is that what how often does she sound like that?
She's actually just discovering her voice, so we're hearing it more and more every time she comes to the city.
Does she seem shocked when her voice comes out like that?
Yes, she shocks us all.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that normal to be at 6 years old discovering your voice?
No, she's just always been the quiet one on the farm. She lets her family do it more than she does.
As an owner of a donkey, how do you feel about like pin the tail on the donkey games that people play? It's a classic.
Never really thought about it.
Yeah.
But she loves butt scratches, so I mean.
She loves butt scratches?
Yeah, just a little scratch her bum beside her tail. She loves it.
So does my dog. That's so great. She's doing so well in studio, by the way, with all of this. Can people meet Rosie? What's the plan with the Rose?
So Rosie, you can see her at her own photo booth, and she has a big grand ambassador stall, and she also has a merch line in our royal paddock. Yes, you can wear a Rosie hoodie, a Rosie hat, and she stops by to see her merch every day there as well.
She does?
Yes.
Do you have some merch?
Yes.
Yeah. Are you so proud? You must be so proud.
I'm so proud of her.
Kelsey is dying to get it. Kelsey, where are you? I know. I knew you were close by. She's like, Lindsay, I can't believe you're doing this segment. Do you want to meet Rosie?
Yes, I do. I don't want to come in too fast.
I know.
Hi,
Can we keep Rosie
Evie.
around for a little bit? We're going to take a break and come back. And Anne-Marie's around too, so we can have more Rosie time. Katie and Zuri, thank you so much. Stick around. Yeah. Rosie, you want to stick around?
Oh, look at that. She does.
Teddy and Lindsay are besties with Rosie. Ahead on your morning, Rick Westhead on his new book, We Breed Lions, about confronting systemic issues in Canada's hockey culture.
The Office Movers is back for season 2.
I don't know why you treat me like the worst moving company in the region. You should see what these other guys are doing out there.
Brothers Eric and Everett in the show navigate the hilarious highs and lows of running their GTA moving company, competing with a big corporation intent on stealing their business. Joining us this morning to talk about the new season are Jay and Trey Richards, co-creators and stars of The Office Movers. Great to have you guys back.
Come on, man.
Thanks for having us.
It's always great to be here.
We love the show. You guys joined us last year to talk Office Movers.
Yeah.
For those who haven't watched it, the show is partially based on your experiences working for your dad's company while growing up in Brampton.
Yeah.
What kind of response have you had from family and friends who know you, who knew what life was like working for your dad, who are now watching the show?
Yeah, all those people work for my dad too, against their
Did they?
will as well. Yeah, my
Yeah.
dad like spread through the community, had us hiring our friends, our enemies. So yeah, they could all relate, definitely.
What do they say?
They just can't believe it's actually on screen. It feels like to them just such a random niche to focus on. It's just such a random odd job, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, movers love it. They
Shout
know
out
that we
to
feel
my
their pain.
movers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Shout out to our movers. Yeah, no, it's beautiful. It's just fun. I feel like, you know, when people watch the show, they see someone that they know and they're just like, wait, hold on. I know that story or I know who you guys are talking about. And I always kind of love an Easter egg. So, yeah.
That's awesome. It must be so weird. Do you ever have moments where you stop and think, wait, like 10 years ago, I couldn't believe that this was what we were going to be doing today?
Oh
Yeah, because 10 years ago, we're like doing our YouTube videos, but my dad would like make us work. So like now it's 10 years later and we're still doing the same thing. Like I have moments of like feeling like I'm at work 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And we even like casted someone that looks exactly like our dad on the show. So at times I'm like, Dad?
This is weird. It's like what is that called when it's like a split reality? It's almost
Yeah.
like the Twilight Zone.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, I got two dads. Yeah,
That's
my TV dad and my real dad. I don't know who's who anymore. So
That's amazing. This season, you guys have a Christmas special.
Yes.
Can you give me any preview of what the holiday episode will be like?
holiday cheer, holiday fun.
Yeah, with the Office Movers twist.
Yeah,
Amazing.
It's gonna be fun.
Your company in the show, Shazam, is always going into competition with this gigantic corporation. So having worked with your dad for so many years, how does that reflect what small businesses actually deal with on a regular basis?
Oh, it's all real, man. He's faced it. He's fought. Today he's good. But he had another company that just wasn't doing so good. There's a lot of other more official, squeaky clean companies that were just constant competition.
Yeah.
It was hard, but we found funny in it.
Do you think that's why people relate to the show and love it so much? Because there's so many entrepreneurs, so many small businesses right across the country that they look at it and they see themselves?
Yeah, I think it's just very relatable, and you watch it and you see someone you know, or you may see a family friend, you're like, yeah, they went through the same things, same stories, and it's all a grind, but there's a silver lining in everything, and there's always comedy in that, and I feel like that's what we always kind of paid attention to, so whatever situation is, just you find a silver lining and you find a reason to laugh, so at least we do them. Exactly, we always do, man.
Your YouTube series, you had Drake appear on one of the episodes, so can we anticipate, hope for, fingers crossed, to see some big names coming onto the show as well?
Yeah, you can cross your fingers.
You can cross your fingers. Yeah, you
can do what you want.
We'll put all the good vibes out there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, here's hoping anyway. Jay and Trey Richards, creators of The Office Movers, great to have you back. Please come back anytime and keep creating.
Oh, man, whenever.
Yes,
Thank you.
By the way, you can catch all 6 episodes on Crave starting November 7th. Next week on Your Morning, come along with me to Guadalupe.
Good morning, Canada. Welcome to the weekend edition of Your Morning. I'm Anne-Marie Mediwake.
I'm Lindsey Deluce.
I'm Kelsey McEwen. Coming up in this half hour, we are in the kitchen making pasta with Lidia Bastianich.
Also coming up, Dan Riskin will be joining us to discuss, I'm going to say, a bizarre medical breakthrough that could help save lives, though.
Well, before we get to that, Rick Westhead joined us to dig into what he discovered about the troubled parts of Canada's hockey culture. Rick takes an investigative look at all levels, from minor to the NHL and beyond. Some of the things I had guessed, others were shocking to learn. It's an important read, and we had a really eye-opening discussion. Here's that conversation. Well, Rick Westhead is a reporter who broke the story of Hockey Canada's secret slush fund used to pay a woman accusing Team Canada junior players of sexual assault. His coverage of the trial that eventually unfolded, where those players were ultimately acquitted of all charges, opened the floodgates for people wanting to share their own hockey experiences with Westhead. He's now weaving those stories and so much more into We Breed Lions, a new book exploring the toxic side of hockey culture in Canada. And Rick is in studio with us this morning. Welcome.
Hi, good morning.
So this book is not an easy read, and you have learned firsthand what happens when you take a critical look at the country's beloved sport. You even had a guy that would show up in this shirt at the trials with your name on it, calling you a piece of something that, we can't say this time of the morning. But you also had a Hall of Famer who made snide remarks about this book even before it was released, even before you had a chance to read it. So I want to be clear, you're not anti-hockey. Why did you write this book?
Well, I think we need to understand kind of how we got here. How did we get to a point where 11, almost a dozen, young men found themselves in a hotel room alone with a young woman? This is not the first case like this. It's not even the only recent case like this. Mm-hmm. This case in London got so much attention across the country, excuse me, but at the same time, we had 2 major junior players in Quebec that are now serving prison sentences for sexual assault. Another case where 3 players, Noah Corson, who's the son of an NHL star, and 2 of his teammates are now in jail, and multiple other allegations where players are having to defend allegations like this. So I really wanted to understand how we got here. What is it about hockey culture in our country that, maybe even though this is a sport where it's amazing and there's so many good people who are doing good things and volunteering to give back, is there something about this sport where as players advance into junior hockey, they're not encouraged to become the best versions of themselves?
Yeah, the book examines how we've gotten to this point, and you take a really hard look at what happens in the lower ranks of hockey, all the way up to the NHL and beyond. And what stood out to me was your chapter about minor hockey. You write about the corruption with parents paying off coaches and teams being bought, so to speak, and the disconnect between teaching players at that age to be respectful and then zero consequences when they aren't respectful. What's going on in minor hockey?
Great question. I mean, I can't tell you the number of times I'd go into rinks in the Toronto area or, further outside the city and see preteens walking into a rink with 3 hockey sticks, which were worth over $400 a piece. So parents are throwing money hand over fist into hockey. It's become a rich person's sport, unfortunately. And with that, the expectations and the willingness that parents are going to go to help their kids try to be that 1 in a million player that actually makes it as a professional, they start making bad decisions. Like, I can't tell you the number of times I've seen as well, at minor hockey tournaments, even just as a coach, coaching my own son, and watching kids and watching the behavior and thinking, well, this is a sport where we celebrate, these guys coming into the rink as young men wearing suits because this shows that they respect the game of hockey. But look at how these preteens are sitting in a restaurant stuffing pepper and salt and paper menus and ketchup and crayons into their drink glasses while some poor young server is trying to serve them food. Is that, if you want to talk about respect, let's talk about how they respect themselves and others around them first before respecting hockey.
That example and the way that you have that in the book and that really, really stood out, had a big impact. We've seen the power of breaking the silence. Sheldon Kennedy, Theo Fleury, Kyle Beach, these men had the courage to speak out. And you spoke with current players who would share with you their stories, but then they would call you and say they don't want their name in print. What does that tell you about the culture of silence that still exists, about exposing the dark side of the sport?
Yeah, I actually, for this, I knew that the reflex from many people in hockey would be that this was an issue back in the 1990s when Sheldon Kennedy came out with a story, but things are better now. So I went out of my way to use Instagram to reach current, players who've just come out of junior. And I wound up interviewing 58 players in their 20s, most of whom were willing to, on the record, meaning use their name in the book, share their stories. But there were a few cases where players, after the fact, texted or called and said, actually, don't use my name. And at the time, Anne-Marie, I thought, well, this is a real weakness. Like, it's too bad I can't use these the same way. And then came to realize this is actually a strength because it does show just how afraid some people within the game are to actually speak about the game. Because as Stephen Brunt, a friend and journalist, writes in the foreword of this book, to talk about this, to critique hockey is to be anti-hockey. And to be anti-hockey is to be anti-Canadian.
You had a lot of players open up to you about another aspect of the sports that happens at all levels, and that is hazing. And you spoke with a psychologist about the so-called bonding it creates. That's the reason given for allowing it to happen in the first place. Here's what I'm curious about. How does nudity, violence, humiliation create a better hockey player?
I wish I had an answer for that. Some of the experts I've talked to about this who wanted to dig into the answer to that question, they believe that, it's this idea that there's a shared secret here. And we're still seeing this. I reported on a case in Ontario just last week of a U14 team where players were put on probation for 2 years and their coach was suspended for 6 months because of what was happening in their locker room. I don't know how we got here.
It's that piece. If you walked up to a parent on the street and said, as a teenager or younger, we're going to expose your son or daughter to X, Y, and Z, and whatever happens on the bus and in the back of the bus and in the bathroom and all of it, they would tell you absolutely not. But it happens, and their kids are enrolled in it, and the coaches and managers at the front of the bus know what's happening. Why not stop it?
Yeah, good question. I think one of the most troubling things about this, and I think this is documented pretty well in this reporting, there have been attempts through the years to understand why, right? And by experts to actually do studies.
Reports have been commissioned and submitted.
And then when these expert researchers have come back with their data and they've gone to the junior leagues and said, we want to show you what we found. We want to help you so that we can fix this. Mm-hmm. In many cases, these researchers say that league officials have said, we're not interested. Mm-hmm. And the way that the researchers have viewed that is that the leagues don't want to know what they don't know. Because if they don't know it, they don't have to address it and fix it.
Yeah. The fact that they would commission and pay for those studies and then shelve them is just another part of your book that's really fascinating.
In fact, the one study that the league has paid for that I think is really telling. Yeah. About 10 years ago, a number of players filed a class action lawsuit against the junior leagues, saying that they were, hazed and abused during their time. And in 2019, a market research firm named Lidia in Montreal was hired to look into this deeper. And they interviewed more than 600 players and coaches and parents, et cetera, all these people who had had a connection to the game within the last within the previous 4 years. And that survey, again, of people in the game, of all the players they interviewed for that survey, they found almost 50% said they heard of stories of abuse and maltreatment that had never been reported by the media. So don't take my word for it. Don't take anyone who's not in the room's word for it. The players themselves are saying this is still an issue.
Rick Westhead, I want to thank you not only for being here today, but for what you take a look at in the book. It is called We Breed Lions.
A visit to Harvard's flagship library sparked a novel idea for our next guest. It involves the Titanic and a young book collector who died in the tragedy. That young collector was Harry Widener, a Harvard graduate. You're looking at his portrait hanging in the library created in his honor at Harvard University. Legend has it, when the Titanic was sinking, he ran back to his cabin to grab a book and was never seen again. He is part of the real-life inspiration behind The Missing Pages, a new book blending historical fact with fiction. Author Allison Richmond is joining us this morning from Miami. Great to have you on the show.
Hi, how are you, Kelsey?
I'm well, thank you. I love a good origin story. So before we get into the plot itself, I understand it was your daughter who helped spark the idea for this book after she toured a library at Harvard.
Yes, so I am so indebted to my 19-year-old daughter, Charlotte. She, when she was a junior in high school, took a tour of Harvard with some other prospective students. And the tour guide told the story that you just shared, that Harry Elkins Widener was a 27-year-old book collector who perished on the Titanic. And there was this legend surrounding him that he did not get on the lifeboat with his mother, who was begging for him to get on the lifeboat with her, but instead chose to go back to his cabin to retrieve a rare and precious book. And his mother, he was a Harvard graduate, so his mother, after his death, built this beautiful library for him. And in the center of the room is that photograph, that memorial room that she created to house his 3,000-volume book collection. And she put his original desk and chairs from his office. And to this day, fresh flowers are put on his desk to conjure up the sensation that at any moment he might come into the room, pull one of the books off of his bookshelf, and sit down to read. And I was just so moved by that story that I thought, wouldn't it be interesting to tell the story of what really happened on the Titanic through the voice of Harry's ghost inside the library his mother built in his honor?
So the book is fiction, and like you mentioned, there is a ghost story element in here, but you're also weaving in historical facts. So can you tell us a little bit about who the real Harry was? We know he was the rare book collector, but what else do we know?
So Harry was a passionate book collector who came from one of the wealthiest families in America at the time. It was a Gilded Age family. His grandfather was a completely self-made man. He made his fortune selling mutton to the Union troops during the Civil War, and then invested in the trolley car system of Philadelphia, and then in U.S. Steel, and the fortune grew. He loved theater, he loved English and literature, and he was just passionate about making his mark through books in his young life.
One of the characters, Violet, is a page at the library, and she starts witnessing some odd things. Books falling off the shelves, opening to specific pages. There's a lot of weird things happening here. So I understand when you were researching the library and Violet's role, you learned there was a real-life book slasher at one point terrorizing the staff.
Well, not terrorizing the staff, but when I was doing research to create Violet's storyline, because I did want to have a character who was grieving and finding healing in the library itself, I started to dig through the different newspaper articles that were written at Harvard during the early 90s when my character Violet is there. And I learned that there was a book slasher who was going into the stacks and pulling out pages and writing very volatile messages. And the entire Harvard security, the FBI got involved trying to find out who was actually doing this. So that plays also into some of the things that are happening. But Harry is a friendly ghost who really wants Violet to uncover an untold chapter of his story.
There's so much real-life drama that just lends itself to a great story. Allison Richmond, thank you for taking the time to write this and share it with us this morning.
Coming up, we are in the kitchen with Lidia Bastianich, who is sharing pasta recipes from her new cookbook.
Well, Scientists have uncovered new evidence suggesting life may be possible on one of Saturn's many moons. Data collected from NASA has found new types of organics sprouting from one of the moons. There's lots of them, so it's just on one of them. Anyway, Canadian researchers have also discovered a new antibiotic that treats Crohn's disease using AI. So for a closer look at these latest discoveries, I am joined by CTV science and technology specialist Dan Riskin. Great to have you.
Great to be here. Lots to talk about.
Lots to talk about. I'm going to leave the name of the satellite and the moon to you.
Oh, sure. Cassini is the satellite.
There you go.
But the moon is Enceladus.
Okay.
It's fun to say, and it's one of the like, if you had to pick a place in our solar system that might have life that isn't here, you wouldn't pick Mars. You would pick this moon, Enceladus. It is an exciting place. It is a frozen shell of ice with liquid water underneath.
Okay.
And that liquid water underneath is heated by geothermal, I guess it's not geothermal, but by thermal vents that keep it liquid. So you've got this pool of ocean water that has more water in it than all the oceans on Earth combined. Is there life down there? We don't know.
Maybe.
So let's find out. So Cassini was a spacecraft that was orbiting around Saturn for a long time, and as part of that, it went past Enceladus and collected sort of sniffs of the air as it went by. Now you're in space, so there's no air, but Cassini sprouts up water that comes out of cracks near the South Pole, and it sprays up into the space, the air, whatever you want to call it. And so as the spacecraft was going through, it collected some of these molecules, and the data from those sensors has been reanalyzed, and they've found evidence of some new molecules they didn't see last time, and these are organic molecules. Now, organic doesn't mean it came from something alive. It just means it has carbon in it, but it could be related to possible life under the ice. So very exciting.
Well, we know carbon, building block of life.
Yes.
So two questions. One, do we know if life is there? Maybe, maybe not. But are we wanting to live on it? Is that why we're doing this?
So great questions. First one, we have not found evidence of life, but we've found evidence that is conducive to life. So we haven't disproven it, but we want to go back and we want to get a better look. In terms of what we do with that information, really at this stage, it's a question of, are we unique on Earth? Is there life out there? And if there is life in our solar system somewhere else, we'd sure like to know about it and what it looks like. And did it evolve the same way it evolved here? All those fun questions. So this wouldn't really be a great place to spend your summers, but it's definitely a good place to learn about if you want to understand where we came from.
It blows my mind because when I think life, I think planets.
Yeah.
I don't think moons.
Right, I know.
Right.
But it's, a planet just means it's going around the sun. This is it's like a planet. It's just going around a bigger planet, which itself is going around the sun.
Well, and there are 274 moons that go around
Saturn. They just found a whole bunch of new ones, and some of them are like little things the size of this table. I mean, some of them shouldn't count, but they do. But yes, it's got a lot of different moons. But Enceladus has always been that one that everybody's been like, ooh, look at that. I mean, Jupiter has a couple like this as well, where there's water under the surface. And you just, like, if you were gonna make the perfect recipe for life to show up, that's what it looks like. And so we just want to build the good spacecrafts and go there and find out.
Okay, so from looking for life in outer space to improving life here on Earth.
Oh, nice turn.
Thank you.
You're good at this.
Thanks. Okay. I want to turn to this new antibiotic. It's targeting Crohn's disease.
Yeah.
So what does this treatment have that others don't?
So this is a new antibiotic that was created with AI. You know, we've talked about AI, and everybody knows AI is great for now. You can make videos of cats that don't exist. Like, it can be done to... You can waste time with AI, but you can also use it to do amazing things. And so researchers are using AI to try to understand molecules and to build new antibiotics. Right now, if you get sick, you take antibiotics that basically nuke everything in your gut, right? They get rid of the good stuff, the bad stuff, it kills everything. It'd be nice to have a targeted thing that's like, I have a certain bacteria that's bad, and so we want to build an antibiotic that just goes after that one kind of bacteria. And it's very hard for humans to invent that stuff, but AI can come up with suggestions of what those molecules might look like. And this new drug that's from McMaster University with collaborations from MIT and in the States is a new kind of antibiotic built with instructions from AI that can target the bacteria that are causing problems without nuking everybody else. So it's just like a step in a giant new direction.
Whenever we talk about AI being involved in discoveries like this, I always wonder, like, would we have gotten there eventually and AI is just able to speed this up?
Yeah, but like in thousands of years. Okay. I mean, it's crazy. AI's ability to sort of see patterns is very exciting. At this stage, AI sort of says, here's what it looks like. But doctors know about hallucinations too, right? So it's not like they say, oh, the AI said this will work, and then they make the drug and they go to bed at night. They say, oh, nice hypothesis. Let's test it. So the humans still have to do all the legwork to make sure it works, but it really speeds things up because they have that initial guess that turned out in this case to be right.
I love that. Dan, thank you. This is very exciting.
Yeah, thank you.
When you dream of good Italian cooking, no doubt Chef Lidia Bastianich comes to mind. She has been making pasta on TV screens for years, and now she has compiled all of her best recipes, tips, and tricks into her newest cookbook. It is called The Art of Pasta, and we are honored to have Lidia in our Your Morning Kitchen today. And a reminder to you quickly, if you want these recipes, I know you do, you can scan the QR code that's on your screen. Welcome back, Lidia.
Ciao, Anne-Marie. How you doing?
I'm so good. I walked in, it smells delicious in here. I thought this must be what it smells like in your kitchen. I feel very lucky to be with you today.
Well, thank you. You like seafood. I have delicious...
I love everything you make. What are you making first of all for us?
Well, I'm making pakeri with mixed seafood. Very simple. The pakeri are... Get in there. Get
in there. Show. Okay.
Take a look. That's pakeri. That's a nice...
This is the type of noodle.
You see the nice wide noodle? And that takes all the sauce in and whatever. Oof, and here I have some calamari, and I'm going to put in some crushed tomatoes.
Delicious.
Right in there. And you know what I always do?
What do you always do?
Well,
pasta water.
Well, you want to collect everything. You don't want to waste anything.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's put.
Do you know you're the one? I learned that trick from you, by the way. The pasta water in the sauce.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Well, this book you certainly have. It's. You wonder, pasta. Why all of a sudden? It's my first single subject book.
Yeah.
And I getting a lot of messages, emails.
Questions, yeah.
People are interested in pasta all over again. There was a period where they weren't.
Yeah, staying away from the carbs. But now,
exactly.
Give me all the carbs.
Exactly. And you can modify it. So you let the tomatoes cook a little bit and whatever. I'm going to put just a little bit of oil.
Olive oil,
okay. And
what else are we adding to this, Lidia?
Scallops.
Scallops, delicious.
And that you add, that I sear first, and I add it just at the end because you don't want to overcook it.
Yeah, don't want them tough.
Okay.
Ooh, look at all that. So we've got calamari, we have shrimp, we have scallops, delicious.
The garlic and oil base, and again, a nice, so.
How do you know when this is done?
Well, I give you, in the book, I give you the direction.
Will you tell me now?
I will because
Okay.
it's a question also of a feeling. When you cook, when more or less, because sometimes the shrimps are bigger. They take more time. Sometimes the scallops. So you have to have a feel.
Okay.
But they are seared already, so that's good. So let's put the pasta right in here.
The pasta's going right in there. The noodles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, I'll do this. This is like no pressure having you stand here watch me. Oh my goodness. Is that too much water? I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
It's all good?
Go.
Do more? Okay, here we go.
No.
Okay. There you go.
Okay, you want to do some?
Am I taking so long?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
You're doing fine.
Okay, good.
Okay.
It's a lot of pressure.
One of the things that is important in the kitchen is precisely to be confident
Yes.
of what you do. And I always tell the people out there, go in there. And if you make a mistake, it's okay.
Yeah.
But, follow the recipe first.
Okay.
I give you an instruction. And then from there, you can make it your own. So how do you like this?
I love this. Lidia, I need to try this because we have a minute left and I still want to get to this one. This is one of my favorite dishes. Can I try this one now?
You can try anything, anywhere you want. Why don't you go right in
Right
here?
from the pot? Ooh,
Absolutely.
Thank you. I feel so special. Okay.
I'm going to put...
This is going to be so messy and good and hot.
Okay.
Oh, that sauce.
It's hot, sure. It's cooking. And let me...
The sauce.
Isn't it delicious? Refreshing, nice.
Oh, you got the tang of the seafood and the tomatoes. Oh, so good.
And you can put the whole pot on the table.
Yeah.
And...
Or it's hearty and delicious. Lidia, can we do this one really quickly? Because I want to make sure people
You want cacio e pepe too?
Yes, I love
Okay,
love
so
this.
cacio e pepe is simple. 3 ingredients. It's the rage now. Pecorino cheese.
Yep.
Crushed pepper, lots of crushed pepper.
Delicious.
And that's it. And you kind of a little bit of pasta water, and you dress it up, and it's just the tonarelli. It's a thick spaghetti. Pasta in today's world.
Yeah.
It's makes economical sense,
yeah,
nutritional sense,
yeah,
flavor sense. Everybody loves pasta. Who doesn't love? The kids love pasta.
It's a win-win-win, Lidia. Just like having you here today. I want to thank you for coming back.
Thanks.
This is a beautiful book. You'll want to get that, and make sure you scan the QR code for the recipes. I am going to enjoy this.
Coming up Monday on Your Morning, Jerry D is here with his new comedy special. Funny you should say that.
That's all for us today on Your Morning Weekend. Don't forget, scan the QR codes for Your Morning, our newsletter, and you can listen to more great conversations on Your Morning, the podcast.
We have an awesome week coming up. On Monday, Jerry D is here with his new comedy special.
And you know what's coming out in a week?
I do. It's Wicked for Good.
I knew I could count on you to know. On Thursday in the kitchen, we are going to be sharing Wicked-inspired recipe ideas.
They're going to be wicked.
Everything will be pink and green. Yes. And then on Friday, we have Rad's review of the second installment of So Much Wicked for You.
So much Wicked.
Oh, I'm so curious to hear Rad's take. All week long, we're also going to be with Kelsey in Guadalupe. Kelsey, quick preview.
Oh, so good, you guys. We talked history, we talked culture, we ate really good food. We went in a rainforest and we saw great waterfalls.
Cool.
We had the best crew, and I'm so excited for you guys to see the adventure that was had, because it was a lot of fun.
It's the week of Kelsey Sings next week. That's all for us here on Your Morning. Have a great rest of your weekend, Canada. We'll see you on Monday.